Shalom. I'm going to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachakadosh. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the name of His only begotten Son. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel. The true Hebrew Israelites are the so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans. As well as you Israelite foreigners who may look like the other nations, but to the seed line of your father go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There's going to be a video lesson on prophecy, World War III, Russia, Jacob's trouble in the kingdom. It might be kind of two parts. And maybe touch a little on what the madness, what's his calls his title, the Bishop Nate of the IUIC camp. Touch on that a little bit, but I'm going to start with this article. Putin issues direct nuclear warning to United States. We are ready. And so, you should already know what's going on.
Field of strategic deterrence.
This video.
Хватает.
You know, I'm not going to play because I don't think my phone you'll hear it, but leave the link in the description, Lord willing. Let's hit the scriptures. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 12. One woe is past, which is World War I. And behold, there come two woes more hereafter. So all the three world wars are in the Bible. And World War III is right ahead of us. And Russia is going to be a part of it. The Valley of Jehoshaphat, the Battle of Armageddon, that's World War III. And Russia is a major superpower in prophecy right now. This is Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 3. And thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Gog, or Magog, is Russia. Chief prince, when you read in the Hebrew, it is Russia, or Rashar, where it's Russia. Verse 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. So Russia is being turned back from that old, the cold USSR state. That's what is being turned back, and you see it gathering some of that old land. So this is a prophecy. And all thine army, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Just to finish the precept. So, Russia's going to play a part in World War III is being turned back and is going to bring its troops down to fight in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. This is Ezekiel 39 in verse 1. Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, Russia, same as Ezekiel 38, and say, Thus saith Yahweh power, Bashem Yahweh Shai, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back. And we read Ezekiel 38, I'll turn thee back with hooks and thy jaws, and leave but the sixth part of thee. So the Russian army is going to be chopped up into 6 parts. One of the 6 parts is going to stay in Russia, and 5 of the 6 parts will read on and will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. So the rest of the Russian army is going to go fight the Battle of Armageddon over there in the Middle East. So Russia, is a player in prophecy. And back to the title, it reads, Putin issues direct nuclear warning to United States. And so this is not an empty threat. And we know this because of the prophecies. We know Russia is going to shoot nuclear missiles on America, on Babylon, which is the United States. So Russia being turned back, it's going to be, it's not going to simmer down. It's going to be turned back until it shoots. It's going to be turned back, and then it will shoot nuclear missiles at America. This is Isaiah chapter 13. In verse 17, Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. The Medes represent Russia. The them is America, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Verse 18, their bows, which this represents their nuclear missiles, also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity upon the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And we know these missiles are going to bring fire upon Babylon the Great. And we read the book of Joel chapter 2. Joel chapter 2 and verse 3. Or I'll read a verse 2. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. The great people and a strong are the ICBMs, which we read, the Medes, Gog and Magog have these ICBMs. There had not ever been the like, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Verse 3 is the point. A fire devoureth before them, which is the fire from the nuclear missiles, and behind them a flame burneth. And that's behind the missile, each and every missile, the great people and the strong, there's a rocket fire. When it is launched from the silo, it shoots and there's a fire. I'll get a picture. Find a picture. This is a fire behind them. Another example of a fire behind them. Here's a fire behind them. A fire behind them. And then when the warhead hits, the fire devoured before them, which is going to bring fire to Babylon the Great. So let's read the precept again and go back to Isaiah, Salakia. Joel chapter 2 verse 3, a fire devoureth before them. When the missiles hit and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, nothing shall escape them. Back to Isaiah 13 and 18. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. Verse 19, in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms. Babylon is America, the whore that sitteth on many waters. The waters represent the great melting pot of people you can read about in Revelation 17 and 15. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when Yahweh Bashem Yoshai overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, which was by fire. So Babylon is going to be destroyed by fire. In Russia, the Medes is going to be a major nation that Yahweh Bashem Yoshai is setting up in prophecy and will shoot missiles on America. 2 Ezra chapter 16 verse 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows, the arrows are the missiles, that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. So the ends of the world means it can go from continent to continent. That's why they're called ICBMs, which means intercontinental ballistic missile. And so the Medes, Gog and Magog, will they are armed with arrows, and their arrows will be shot into the ends, from the one end of the world to the other. And so now is the time to get right with Yahweh Bashem Yoshai. Build up your faith. Understand was the time of trouble that's ahead of us, and keeping these commandments to the best of your ability. Because the time of World War III, which is in the Middle East, but there's also going to be a time of Jacob's trouble, which is when all hell breaks loose, and the MOTB, the RFID microchip will be made mandatory. There's going to be martial law. And let's read the scripture, Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. So that's the time of tribulation. But he shall be saved out of it. So at the same time of World War III will be this time of Jacob's trouble. So we read about Russia and its threats against America. This is how we know Jacob's trouble is going. We're not long until all hell breaks loose. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. This mark is the RFID microchip. And this is going to be mandatory in the time of Jacob's trouble. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And so there's going to be a whole new digital system where without this MOTB you won't be able to buy or sell. So the world is going to change rapidly. You're going to see a digital system. World War III is going to be in effect. And so we're at the beginning stages, Gog and Magog being turned back with hooks in his jaws. We see threats. Ultimately, it's going to lead to the destruction of America. And the elect Israelites will be delivered in the fathership, the chariots, when Yahushua returns, along with the angels, so-called UFOs. Let's go back to Jeremiah 30. And so seeing that the prophecies dictate what the nations and what happens on the earth, looking at seeing Russia, we know through the prophecies that Russia is not going to succeed in its plan to Russia's just a pawn, if you will. I don't know if I should say it, basically a piece that the Most High is using. And so Putin's not going to be the next top man. He's not going to be the next king. We know King David's going to be king. So when we read back in Jeremiah 30 and verse 8, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh Ba'ashmi of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. So us Israelites, the other nations, we're no longer going to be servants to these other nations. Verse 9, but they shall serve Yahweh their power, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. So King David is going to rule. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is going to rule, but also King David. So Putin's not going to be, America's not going to be destroyed, and then the events of Esau's rulership are going to play out, and Putin's going to take over in China. No, King David's going to be king. Yahushua is going to return. He's going to conquer, deliver the elect, and the Israelites will reign on the earth. And King David, as we read, will be king. and the other nations will be our slaves. Isaiah chapter 61. In verse 5, and strangers shall stand, these other nations shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the aliens shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. This is going to be in the kingdom where the Israelites will be in power, where the heathen, they're going to work on plantations. So there's going to be a whole new rulership. Second Ezra chapter 6 verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So this is a translation of kingdoms, of rulerships. From Esau, the so-called white man, to Jacob, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Jacob, when is the beginning of it that followeth, that's going to be the kingdom of heaven. Yahweh is going to have his dominion. King David's going to be king. The Israelites are going to reign as a people and rule over the other nations. And we read they're going to be feed our flocks and be our plowmen and vine dressers. And we're going to especially put hell on Esau, the so-called white man. And so this ties into what Bishop Nate was saying, that something along the lines that the other nations are going to be completely destroyed, which is not true, because we just read that the heathen are gonna serve us. We just brought out the scripture. And so this ties in because Russia is not going to be the next superpower, nor China, but the Israelites. Jacob. It's the same thing. Israel and Jacob. The other nations will be there serving slavery. And they will also learn the laws of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We read Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. And I'll start at verse 1. The word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain, which represents the government of Yahweh's house, shall be established in the top of the mountains, which is the Israelites. When the Israelites are on rule, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people, which is going to be these other nations, shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. Who is this talking about? The other nations learning the laws from the Israelites. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai from Jerusalem. And so, if the other nations were completely done away with, then why would they be spoken of learning the laws in the kingdom, where there's going to be a righteous rulership? Verse 4, and he shall judge among the nations. And so the heathen aren't going to be immortal. They're not under the new covenant, but they will be in the kingdom. They'll serve slavery and they'll learn the laws. And so we can tell it's not talking about the Israelites, because this is Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh Bashmiel Shah, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith Yahweh. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and shall be my people. So we're not going to need to be taught the laws. No Israelite. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahweh, for I will forgive their iniquity, and will remember their sin no more. And so, the Israelites, we're going to have the laws in us, so we're not going to need perfectly. We're not going to need to be taught the laws. So in Isaiah 2, it's also in Micah, that's talking about the other nations coming to learn the laws. And this proves that the small hats aren't the people, because no one is going up to them. First of all, they need money. Why do they need all this money from America if they're the top government? And two, nobody is teaching the laws. If anything, people go there for wickedness. If anything, it's just the truth. They go there for gay pride parades. They're notable for that. And that land's going to be destroyed by nuclear fire as well. And then it will be inhabited by the true Israelites. And he will teach it and be built back up. And he will teach us of his ways. And we will walk in his paths, for out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations. And so where's King David? King David's not in the land of Israel right now. He's not a king. That's because they're not the people. If they claim, I'm pretty sure that the man claimed this is Netanyahu vows Israel will realize the prophecy of Isaiah in chapter 60. And so if they're fulfilling Isaiah 60, that would be the same time as, then they should also be, I shouldn't say the same time, but they should also be fulfilling Isaiah 2, where the other nations learn the laws. And King David should be there, Jeremiah 30. And it even says, when we go back to Isaiah, because what are they doing over there is war. And we read this: devastation in Gaza as Israel wages war on Hamas. Live updates. This is not a fulfillment of prophecy. This is the opposite of what the true Israelites are going to do. Because when we go back to Isaiah chapter 2, in verse 4, after we just read that, and he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. So when the Israelites are in power, right now we're not in power, but we will be set up by Yahweh Bashmiel Shai. There's going to be no more war. And so the small hats are way off. Bishop Nate is off. Russia is a part of prophecy which we're seeing leading into the MOTB, Jacob's trouble, in the destruction of Babylon the Great, America, and the deliverance of the elect Israelites, which will result in the kingdom of heaven on the earth. So, with that, I'll give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone of Ruel. Peace and salutation.